I'll tell you stories as we continue about the dangers of separate accounts. They are good because of financial independence, like we said. They are good because of the less risk in case of breakups or debts, prevents arguments over small expenses. So like you choose to go and treat your girlfriends out to a dinner. You look at it as a small expense, but it's going to weigh down your relationship. If you are in a relationship and one person is a spender, everything to a spender seems small and seems good. And they don't see why they shouldn't do it anyway. After all, it's their money. After all, money is there to do it. Now, the danger of that is when because not all days are equal days. Today you may have money, tomorrow you don't. You need to have something, some safety net to fall back on in case things fall apart. Now, if you are not with joint accounts, I've seen it where a man had his big job and was getting his good money. I'll first read Dina's comment before I continue. As I work alone, so I expect up and let me read Dina's comment. As I work alone, so I expect up and failures which imagine alone, and they are not pinned. So no way I add my money to people who change like weather. That's what Dina thinks, that she wouldn't add her money to people who change like weather. Like I said, behind every financial decision is an experience. So Dina has got practical experience on that one. That is why that is her take. But going back to this, probably Dina, like she said before, she works hard to get her money. She's not going to spend it on people who change like weather. But that's her take. At the end of the day, you listen to all takes and choose which one works for you and which one would work for your relationship. Uh, I was telling you of a story of a man who had a big job and had a big account and met this girl and they got into a relationship. They were not married. And this girl said, can we put money together? Or can I, keep my own money and you keep yours? The man said, I don't have use for your money. Keep it to yourself. I'll run everything. So the girl was glad that she didn't have to worry about finances while she worked at her small, quote unquote, job, her job, like we call it. Now, the man was not aware that where the lady had worked for years, she had been promoted from being on a lower level where she started off from to where she was qualified to work. And she kept on coming home. The man kept on thinking she's earning the same money she used to earn years ago while she had been promoted over the years. Now, time came and the woman was investing her money. She would send it to her father. Even when Roger said she doesn't trust relatives, she would send it to her father, and then her father built for her apartments. And he first built a house, then built apartments, and kept on earning money from the apartments because they were renting somewhere with her husband, because the husband was showing off that he was in good position to, take care of every expense of the girl and home. So later on, they had a child and another child, but still the order was the same. Your money is yours, mine is mine is ours. So when his job ran out, he got really to a point where he wanted to downsize from the apartment where they were renting to a smaller place that would be a bit cheaper. So he told the wife, the girlfriend said, okay, I found a house that we can rent. And he took the whole family, which is her husband, her boyfriend, and her partner, and two children to that house. And the man kept on looking for rent and paying the girl, and the girl was on his case every single time to make sure that rent is paid on time. Dina says, Sisovola, last time you said money talk, no love. Ndeka. In other words, Dina says she can never add her money with a man. No money, no talking. So to her, that is her take. But we continue with the story, the girl um, kept on pestering the man and saying the landlord needs that money or effective on the 31st. The man could not slack. It had to be paid and paid on time. So uh, the man would look for rent regardless. And she kept on insisting we need to pay 3 months in advance, 3 months in advance. So by the time the third month is up, she's already collected another 3 months from the man. But the man was hustling to try and meet the rent bill. It's much later, while he was at his lowest because he had no job, that the woman went to the bathroom to wash. And the man looked at the phone. The father had sent a message saying, or regarding the apartments, we finished, but now we need to buy a truck for your brother so that he can also have something to do and be able to sustain himself so that he does not depend on you or anyone. So they were planning to buy him a sand truck. You know those ones that ferry sand and stone or rocks or stones or hardcore from one place to another. Those are the ones the father was wondering that the sister could buy for the brother. And once the husband saw, he said, okay. He put the phone down and deleted the message. So the father calls later and says, did you get the message? I was telling you the apartments were finished. Now that you have the apartments and you have that house where you're living, can you do something for your brother? So the man, to cut the story short, got really annoyed and went to her place of work. But before that, the girl had also told her boyfriend that she came home with a car because now that she was promoted, promotion came with a car and a laptop and a new phone. So when she got home with them, the partner was like, where did this come from? He said, they gave them to me because I need to do work sometimes at home. And as for the car, they told me that I can use it so that I stop coming late at work. And yet it was her car. She had bought it with her own money. It's only when he went to her place of work and went asking, can I speak to Rose? And they told her Rose was the assistant HR or something like that. And they told her Rose is not assistant HR. She's one of the managers. Actually was promoted years ago, and the man was in shock. But guess what? He got home, told her, could you be promoted? And the man gave him all the information about how much she earns and what comes with that position that she had got. So guys, that's an alert to all of us. Excuse me, that things could change up. Today you could be okay and you don't need my money and you're okay with separate accounts. What happens if you lose your job and I've got mine? Would the relationship stand? What happens if I keep my job and you lose yours, or you keep yours and I lose mine? Would we still be at the same, level while reasoning in relationship, or would it change up a few things? So with that in mind, let us, choose wisely what kind of account works for us. It's a live chat. Go ahead, drop in the comment section what your take is about joint accounts or separate accounts. What works best and what would you go for? Because we all have what works for us and reasons why we go for those. Another advantage of separate accounts, it is easier to manage pre-existing financial responsibilities. An example, say like I was supposed to take care of my parents and I'm the one supposed to meet their needs. It is easier if I have a separate account. But guess what? There is nothing also that stops me from having a joint account and discussing it with my partner so that we can plan for our relatives to spend certain amount of money on them. So either way, it works. But the advantage of separate accounts is it is easier to manage some pre-existing financial responsibilities. Like you had responsibility of taking care of your siblings, or there's someone you are giving money, a certain amount of money every month for whatever reason. It is easier to continue doing that if you have separate accounts in a relationship, as opposed to when you're in a relationship and you have a joint account. because then money is put together and spent together and needs to be accounted for. In case there is child support, in case there is student loans, it is easier with separate accounts. Now, a second married couple that I talked to who agreed on a separate separate finances to avoid drama. That is what they were saying. That if you want to avoid drama, use separate accounts because that way everyone is responsible for their own money. But guys, that is very deadly. It is a deadly state to be because you live with this person, you sleep with this person. Why would you allow money to come between the two of you where you don't want to put it together? Unless you don't really think you should be with this person. But if you think you should be with together, then think twice. Unless you are not, like Cedric said, you don't know much about the commitment of your partner. But if you do, and you see they have the same financial values, there is trust, and you just go on and try it. It could help a relationship. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, provide for your own. Does that mean personal responsibility first? Roger says that's why I support separate accounts. Rogers is still for separate accounts. And who am I to, change his mind about that? But who here has a separate account? Rogers is in support of it, but I want to know, it's a live podcast, guys. Who among us has a separate account and how has it worked out for you? If you're in a relationship and you have a separate account, how has it worked out for you? Has it helped or hurt your relationship? I just need to know. Because the moment I get to know that you have a separate account, all along I thought we had one account, and then I get to know you've had money on the side. It does hurt a bit getting to know that you had money on the side as opposed to keeping it all together. Dina says when I have separate accounts, there is individual saving goals achieved, and then I'll read Dina's comment. There is individual saving goals achieved, and there are individual policies achieved easily. I know, separate accounts. I know, but have you heard of the saying two are better than one? Because the Bible, there is that saying two are better than one. I mean, if I have 5,000 and you've got 3, together we have 8. Guess what? If we are going to buy food and food costs 3,000, we will not be only able to buy 3,000 because if you have 5 and I have 3, if I used my 3 on food, I would not have money to do something else. But if I put mine with yours, we'll not only be able to buy food, but maybe also buy sauce, buy charcoal, pay rent, pay for water, pay for power. Really, that's how I see it, that 2 are better than 1. Now, there is the hybrid model as well. The best of both worlds. What if I told you there is a third option, which is middle ground, called yours, mine, and ours? There is that middle ground as well, where you're in a relationship, you have what is yours, I have what is mine, and we have what is ours, where I don't bring all my money to that pool, but we can decide that every month you bring a certain amount of money. Nowadays, when men are tourists, I'm wondering what they are touring, Dina. I'm wondering what they are touring. But there's that third option, which is called the hybrid model, where there's what you have your money, you keep it as you, and then I keep mine as mine, and then we have some money that we put together every month to make sure that we meet bills in the middle. Whereby if I'm earning 1 million, you're earning 3 million, you bring some money. So like 300, I bring 300, you put it in a pool, and that is supposed to sort all the bills. If there is power bill, we sort using that pool money. If there is water bill, we sort using that pool money. That is the hybrid model. I don't know how many people are in support of that. The hybrid approach, one joint account for bills and shared goals. Men have third parties they invest in their money.